We see our mission as creating a more just and humane world, a world in which people, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, can live without fear. A world in which our fellow apes, and let's remember, we humans are apes, can live without fear. A world in which both human and non-human have futures that are bright, have homes that are secure, can live lives that are not dominated by threats. If you read our 2012 annual report closely, you're going to recognize a theme. Nobody can win by themselves. Movements aren't easy. And often movements involve decades of work in which you don't necessarily see the fruits of your labors. It was really exciting in 2012 for so many of the movements that Arcus supports to actually be able to report incredible milestones, incredible victories. The New York City Council, for example, passed a law banning profiling of people based on their sexual orientation and gender identity by the New York Police Department. Further away, we see countries like Lesotho decriminalize same-sex activity. Countries like Argentina actually become the first in the world to change their laws so that transgender people can change their gender identity on their official documents without having to have some doctor say it's okay. May 17th, for example, is the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, which was celebrated in countries as diverse as Myanmar and Haiti for the first time. In the UN itself last November, there was a vote which actually condemned the killing of LGBT people, one of the first such official actions by the UN in its history. The fact that there are now large Christian denominations that fully value and accept LGBT people is something I couldn't even have imagined as a child. I'm proud to say that Arcus is continuing that work not only in the Christian faith, but also in the Muslim world. It's important to remember that there are 7 billion human beings on this planet, but only 500,000 apes. If we're not thoughtful and intentional about our efforts to preserve biodiversity and preserve the environment, we could lose these species in my lifetime. In 2012, in Uganda, we saw the number of mountain gorillas actually had increased from 300 to 400, an almost 1/3 increase. People were able to actually physically see cross-river gorillas on film for the first time. Awareness skyrocketed and people began to take seriously the need to preserve this species. We've seen incredible advances here in the United States. For decades, chimps have been used in medically unnecessary and cruel experiments. In 2012, the United States government announced the beginning of the end of this, that they would be releasing over 400 chimps from captivity in medical laboratories to sanctuaries where they could live happy, healthy lives free from the threat of unnecessary and cruel medical experimentation. For all the progress we made in 2012, we need to recognize 2 very basic facts. There is no country in the world where lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people are truly safe. There is no range state in the world in which great apes are free from threats. The threats to the very existence of apes, the threats to the very existence of LGBT people persisted in 2012. And we need to continue our work until those threats have been eradicated. In 2012 alone, we partnered with over 110 organizations working in over 40 countries around the globe. We really applaud our partner organizations who've really invested their time and energy in the hard work that movement building requires, the collaboration and partnership that are at the heart of a successful movement. So when you read about the milestones in our 2012 annual report, I hope you'll feel inspired. I hope you'll feel challenged to go out and plant the seeds for the next generation of social justice and conservation.